Hello and welcome. I'm so happy to have you here watching this training with me today. I am really excited about this topic because if you are an entrepreneur and you want to make an impact in the world and you're not getting the results that you want, social media is the answer. Oftentimes we're grasping for, oh, I need to develop product and I need to do whatever it is that you think you need to be doing on a daily basis. And while those things are really important to help you scale and grow, social media is the thing that you need to be doing in the here and the now in order to continue that momentum in your business and get real results. So we're going to get down, we're going to get dirty, we're going to talk about social media based on all of my years of experience. And it's not just me recycling information from what I've heard from other people. This is me in the field every single day testing what works and what doesn't work so that I can give you the best training, the best information so that you don't have to do the same trial and error that I did. And this training today is really based around a 33-page ebook that I wrote. And it's called The 7 Deadliest Mistakes You're Making on Social Media. And you'll see it posted right below this training video. And it's a report that people are downloading every single day like crazy and getting real value out of, getting real impact. So I'm going to give you an opportunity at the end of this training video to get that for free. I'll just send it to you via email. You don't have to opt in or buy it or anything like that. And all you have to do is make a comment below letting me know the top struggle that you're facing with social media and your top takeaway from this video. So I really encourage you to watch the entire session. We'll be going about a half an hour, and I want you to take notes, so make sure you have your pen and paper handy because like I said, I'm going to get very detailed. This is going to be some serious training. But I really encourage you to get this ebook even though we're going to be talking about these things today on this video, because first of all, you're going to want to print that sucker out. You're going to want to mark it up, highlight it, make notes. That's what I did. I even have my version printed out as reminders of what I need to be doing, because sometimes we get into our day-to-day routine and we get so overloaded with information of all the different trainings that we're learning, all of the different things that we need to be doing. So this is going to serve as a great reminder for you. Just sit down and look at your top highlighted notes once a week even, and you're going to see dramatic results and changes in your social media engagement. You're going to increase your following. There's a lot of cool things that will happen if you follow this structure that I'm going to give you. So the ebook talks about the 7 deadliest mistakes that you're making on social media. And like I said, this took me years to develop after trying and testing and looking what other people are doing and still getting education and training along the way, because I'm a student of the business just like you. And so what we're going to do is talk about these 7 deadly mistakes that you're making. And the first one really starts with that you don't really understand what you should be posting on each social network and why. So because you don't understand what you should be talking about on Facebook versus what you should be talking about on Twitter, what happens is you end up posting information that the regular followers of that network don't really want to hear. For example, with Twitter, you can't post the same type of content that you would normally post on Facebook straight on Twitter, because Twitter followers that are like really seriously into Twitter, they'll get really annoyed that you're not following the normal Twitter protocol. And actually, I recently bought a book that you've probably heard of, but it's Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, 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 Right Hook. And it's a book all about social media, and I really encourage you to order it on Amazon or your Kindle or buy it at your local bookstore, because it actually goes through, it's a gorgeous book first of all, but it goes through and actually shows you examples of different posts that companies are making and what works about them and what doesn't work about them. And so you'll see that with all of the major social media networks in his book, and one of them is Twitter. And Twitter is much more newsworthy, quick little, I feel like it's a little bit more of a time-consuming social network, because I feel like it's very conversational and you have little tweets going back and forth with lots of different people. You're sharing trends, topics that are newsworthy, and for me, I feel total transparency. but I feel like I'm not as on the news as I could be. And so, I struggle a little bit with Twitter because I feel like I'm always behind the news, that I'm hearing about it last. But that's just me, and everybody's going to be different. You may watch the news and be up to date on entertainment and all of that and trends. And if that's you, then you're going to love Twitter. Now, Facebook, on the other hand, yes, it's going to talk about some trending topics and it's going to talk about some news, but it's much more like family, life-oriented. We're going to talk about some business, but I feel like Facebook is just the most broad network where you can talk about almost anything, and it's probably going to be okay. But the reason that you want to be on Facebook is because it's the #1 social network in the world. So why wouldn't you be on Facebook? And you're going to hear some people giving rants about privacy, or that they're just annoyed by Facebook for whatever reason. And hey, if you're not a Facebook fan, that's fine, but just realize that you are not going to be a part of the largest social network in the world, and that is going to have an effect on how quickly and how vastly you're going to get your message out. So I'm a big Facebook fan. It's my social network of choice, actually. I've just found it really intuitive, easy to use, and I can share a lot of different information, and it's going to be well received as long as I've built my following the right way, which we are going to get into a little bit later into this training. But then you have a social network like Google+, and Google+ is Google's version of Facebook, essentially. And we have a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of you watching right now may still be really intimidated by Google+. You don't understand it, it's confusing, it's just there's more of a technology learning curve. And all of that's true. When Google Plus first came out, I really wasn't a huge fan, but I knew that it is going to be the top social network. I'm still predicting that because it's Google's social network, and Google is like running everything. I mean, Google owns YouTube and obviously the search engines, and they have a lot of pull. So you have to get into Google Plus. You have to find a way to relate to it, find a way to learn it, find a way to love it, and start posting on there regularly because it's Google's social network. So absolutely it's going to have an effect on your search engine ranking, so be thinking about that. If you want to be seen in Google's search engine, there's a lot of different tactics such as blogging, updating your website, etc. But then also be thinking, if you want to be seen on Google, you're going to have a lot of YouTube videos out there because Google's going to place that high up in a search engine. You want to be really active on Google Plus because those Google Plus posts are being ranked in Google as individual search phrases. I couldn't believe it. I was making a search last week for, I don't even remember what now because I'm always searching on Google, but I was searching on a topic and up came somebody's Google Plus post as a full page in Google's search engine, and I was shocked, but then I thought, aha, I knew it, the power of Google and Google Plus. So the way that you can look at Google Plus is think about it like Facebook, except strip away all of the really personal things. I found that so far Google Plus is a little bit more educational based, business based. Now that could be changing. It could just be the circles that I'm in, the crowd that I'm following on Google Plus. But I've read a lot of articles out there about Google Plus as well. They're saying the same thing. So that could change, but if you are business to business, or if you have a little bit more of a how-to type topic, definitely want to be on Google Plus, and I really believe that's going to be affecting your search engine rankings. And I did mention YouTube. Sometimes we don't think of YouTube as a social network, but it's absolutely a social network. And it's not a place, if you are an entrepreneur, it's not necessarily a place where I would be posting a video of my gorgeous yellow lab Bailey, who loves balloons, by the way. And you blow up a balloon for Bailey and he pushes it up in the air like a seal, and it will keep him entertained for hours. I'm not even kidding you. He gets all out of breath. He loves it. The balloons, he's popping them all over the house. And I'm telling you this because I think it's adorable and it's hilarious when he does that. And I think it could absolutely go viral. If you saw it, you would believe me. But that's not the kind of content that I'm going to post on social media or on YouTube, because what kind of result is that going to get me? Well, it's going to get me probably other dog lovers or teens or whatever else, somebody that thinks that's funny. But is that my target audience? And maybe part of them would be my target audience, but you have to really be strategic and be thinking about, who do I want to attract on social media? And this is a really key point. Who do I want to attract on social media? And is the content I'm putting out there something that would be attractive to that person? And the reality is that my dog pushing a balloon up in the air may only be, appealing to like 1% of you, maybe 2, but not all of you. And so instead, what I want to do is I want to post really jam-packed, over-the-top, valuable content like what we're talking about today. You want to post content that can be found on search engines, found by your target audience, where they really get a good dose of your value. Because if they get a good dose of your value from your YouTube videos, guess the next stop that they're going to make on the internet? Your website. And then they're going to sign up for your email list and buy your products and look at your coaching, page and hire you. I mean, this is what happens. So YouTube is absolutely a social network. And the last thing that I'll say about YouTube that really impressed me last week was I had a woman who had made a comment or sent a message to me through YouTube saying how much she really enjoyed my content and wanted to subscribe to my channel, and she did. But she was so smart, and I loved her for this. She, below the message, sent me a link to her latest video. And I thought the video was jam-packed with content. She presented herself really well. She wasn't sitting there reading some script. It was coming from her heart. She did a phenomenal job. So what did I do? I shared her video on social media to my entire network. So that was a great example. YouTube is absolutely set up so that you can have conversations with other entrepreneurs, and just be thinking that as you put yourself out there, you're building relationships, and those people will share your content to their entire network. And this is just like the top of the iceberg for the potential of social media. And so many entrepreneurs just don't understand social media or have the right mindset about it. But hopefully by the end of this video, some of that will be corrected. Other two social networks that I'll touch on briefly is Pinterest and Instagram. You're hearing a lot about Pinterest and Instagram. I was just watching Shark Tank last night, which is a phenomenal show. If you haven't seen it, it's an entrepreneur show on TV. And it's all about, these shark investors, and the entrepreneurs come in and pitch their ideas. It's just phenomenal. You'll learn so much about business. But last night a woman came on, and she was selling these like little baby moccasins, and she was selling them online. She had built this company. She started, by the way, when she was selling like the aluminum around window frames in order to save up $200 so that she could create her first few little children baby moccasins that she made herself. She learned how to sew. She created it completely herself, and that's how she became an entrepreneur. It was a phenomenal story about what it really takes to make it sometimes in this world. It takes a lot of hard work, and sometimes you have to start at the bottom, but hey, that's okay. But anyway, she was saying how last year alone, or so far this year, I think it was last year, she had made $500,000 just inside of a few years doing this. And she was saying that one of her biggest sources of traffic to her website is Instagram. She's getting 1,500 views, new views or something like that to her website every week just from posting pictures on Instagram. So Pinterest and Instagram are great for image sharing. So it's a little bit different than a Facebook or a Google Plus and a Twitter, but people love images. It's easier to digest than a lot of content. So you're going to see a lot of women on Pinterest and Instagram, a lot of the younger audience. I haven't dabbled as much in it just because it's not exactly the target audience that I'm going for, but I'm dabbling in it because I know that my target market exists in there. I just have to figure out how to leverage that network to really fully benefit me and my message and my brand so I can impact people with my message. And there are definite strategies there. that you can implement, but that's, I don't want to go too far into that because we have a lot else to cover, but that's essentially, those are the networks and kind of what you want to talk about on each of them, and they are a little bit different. And the temptation is to say, well, I don't want to write so much content, I don't want to spend so much time on social media, so I'm just going to write one thing over here and paste it on all of the networks. But again, that's going to hurt you more than it's probably going to help you. So the first step is really to look at what social networks, where's your audience hanging out. I did forget LinkedIn, which is the professionals network. But again, if you just make a comment below and share your top struggle with social media and your top takeaway from this video, you'll get the full report for free. It's 33 pages and it goes deep dive into these topics and you'll love it. So the second thing that I want to talk about, the second deadliest mistake you're making on social media is that you're not posting consistently. And this is a killer. This is maybe the #1 reason that you're not making more progress on social media, is that you're not posting consistently. And by the way, when I say consistently, think back to Bailey and the Balloon. It's not that you should be posting, oh, I'm sitting in line at Taco Bell, and oh, now I'm over here at the park with my dog, and oh, here I'm going to put in a business post real quick. I mean, dedicated, consistent posts about you, your brand, and what you have to offer to the world, or something associated with your brand. And so I would recommend that you come up with some sort of a schedule for social media and stick to it. You can't just make a post on Monday and then 4 posts on Wednesday and 2 on Friday. You have to be consistent. And look, we're all human. I realized that even last week compared to this week, last week I probably made 2 times the amount of posts that I'm making this week. But you know what? The reality is that we're human and we can only do so much. And this week has been a really important week for me creating some other products and programs. So I'm on there every day, though, at least twice a day, and I'm really trying to make an effort to at least stay consistent to that level. But on the weeks where I have certain products or promotions or something like that, maybe I'll ramp up to 4 or 5 times a day. But whatever the number is for you, you just want to make sure that you're staying really consistent. And I would encourage you to do it twice a day at a minimum. The reality is that everybody has a lot going on, so they may miss your post if they don't check Facebook until the evening or the next day. By making 2 posts a day, you're staying visible in your audience's mind, and that's really what's most important. So you want to make sure that you are posting on a regular basis, because if you're not, you're going to lose the momentum. When I'm posting regularly, I'm building momentum in my business, right? I'm getting consistent views to my website. People are consistently engaging with me, remembering me. But then if I don't post for a week, I just lost everything that I've just built. So you have to stay consistent so that you can keep that momentum going in your business. And if you lose that momentum, it's going to be really, really hard to pick it back up. The third deadliest mistake that you're making on social media is that you're posting the wrong content. So like we talked about with Bailey and the Balloon or the line at Taco Bell, you want to sit down and really think about, what's my brand? Well, that's easy because your brand is you, right? It's your personality. So be thinking about, okay, next, now that I know my brand is maybe a little funny, but it's professional, it's serious, it's based on personal development, it's authentic, it's transparent, all of the things that makes up who you are. That's the first step. The second step is then to be thinking, well, what do I really offer in my company and in my brand? What's the lifestyle that I offer? What's the feeling that I offer? What are the services that I offer and the products that I offer and the content that I offer? And then essentially you just fuse those together, and that becomes the central point for everything that you post on social media. If you have a tendency where you want to talk about your extracurricular activities and movies that you liked, yes, I think that you can post that in there a little bit because that's just building rapport with your audience. But if you want to do it like a lot and you have this need to just be very personal all the time and it has nothing to do with business, then get a separate account where you can invite your friends and family, and that's more of a personal account where you can share those types of things. But otherwise, you want to keep your business account pretty business related. And the way that I explain this to new clients is I say there's two things that you always want to be posting, just two. Number one is something educational, and number two is something inspirational. So that's it. When you sit down to write social media, be thinking to yourself, how can I do something that delivers value or education to my following, such as, a tip for, recovering from a breakup, or hey, I found this great meditation video, how to check it out. And so you're constantly giving them education that then ties you back into being the expert, and then essentially ties back into your brand and helps offer more value for the products and services that you're offering. And the second thing is inspirational, because people need to be inspired in order to take action. Inspiration is huge. You can't just be pitching people all the time and talking about your business all the time, because that gets old. You have to have a steady, regular flow of inspiration for your audience. And yes, I would even say that for any industry. And if you have an industry that you think doesn't need inspiration, let's talk about it because I bet I'll prove you wrong. But you want to do inspiration. That's why people post a lot of quotes, for example, or like in the past, what I have done is I've looked up like parts of movies that I found really inspiring, such as the latest Rocky, the Peaceful Warrior, The Pursuit of Happiness, The Secret, and I've found little clips within those movies that were just off the charts phenomenal, and I just post that on social media and add a little note about it. So making sure that you're inspiring your audience is going to make them feel more alive, more energy, and guess what? Now you're the one that makes them feel that way, and so now they're going to be naturally attracted to you and drawn to you, and that's a wonderful thing. And then when you push, a product or service, they'll be inspired to take that action potentially. And that's another thing that Gary Vaynerchuk talks about in his book as well, so be sure to check that out. You want to make sure that, again, you're furthering your brand. Your posts are on purpose, if that makes sense. And, maybe to begin with, what you could try doing is just have that awareness. When you sit down to do social media twice a day, just be thinking to yourself, am I adding value? Is this post on purpose? And you'll know instinctively if it is or isn't. I don't want you to just overcomplicate everything and overthink everything and second guess yourself, but the lesson here is just to pretty much stay on purpose. And the last thing that I'm going to say about this is the idea of pitching. New entrepreneurs on social media think that it's just a great marketing tool. They think it's, I need as many followers as I can get. It's not about the number. If there's one thing that you get from this training, it's that it's not about the number of followers that you have. If you say, I want 10,000 followers, well, that's really nice. You could go out and buy 10,000 followers from Fiverr.com. They'll be there clicking on your page by the end of the week. But are they engaging with you? Are they real prospects? Are they really interested in what you're going to be talking about and the value you're going to be delivering in your products and your programs? And 9 out of 10 times, the answer is no. I would rather have 100 people like my page that are my real clients, my real prospects that care about me and are engaging with me, than have 1,000 people that I barely hear from. So please hear me when I tell you it's not about the number, it's about the relationship. And if you're looking at just the number, if you're looking at it as just a marketing method, you're just going to find yourself pitching all the time. Here's my latest ebook. Here's my latest whatever. Bye, me, 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 me. And that's really a huge turnoff in social media. You want your post to be about them. Yes, you can talk about a new video training that you have, but don't say, ooh, look at me in my new video training. Say something like, do you really struggle with social media? Do you feel overwhelmed when it comes to social media? Do you just wish you could just get one person to explain it to you simply, give you the structure that you need to be successful at it without all of the hype? Well, I really identify with what you feel, and that's why I created this live video training for you, so that you could learn what I have learned over the past several years about social media. Do you see the difference? So you can't make it all about you. You can't pitch all of the time. If you think about your people that you're communicating to first, that's really the way that you know you're in the zone. In fact, I'll even take that one step further and say, just try to post to one person. Think of your ideal target market client, and every time you sit down to do social media, think of that person and write your post, whether it be educational or inspirational, whether you're sharing a video, a blog post, or somebody else's article, or sharing a post that somebody else wrote, whatever it is, think about that one person and make the post that way, and I bet you'll see far, far better results. The fourth deadliest mistake that you're making on social media is that you're not leveraging other people's networks. And this is, I would even go so far as to say it's more of an intermediate to an advanced training, because beginners don't even usually think about this. But I always invite you as a business owner to go where the people are. Instead of being on your own little island trying to say, pay attention to me, go where the people are already hanging out. So for example, go on Brendon Burchard's Facebook page. He has 300,000 some people. Now, Brendan's people are my target market, man. They're heart-centered, they're inspired, they're motivated entrepreneurs trying to make a difference in the world. So my strategy would be to go to Brendan's page, and every time Brendan makes a post, I make a valuable comment about how awesome that post is, add in my own 2 cents based on my own training into that comment, and that's it. Or try to create a conversation between other people making comments. But the more that you engage in other bigger networks that have your target market, those people will naturally get value from your posts and migrate back over to you and start liking your page and then going to your website and opting into your email list. So there's a lot to be said about leveraging networks of others. And if you get that free ebook below, the 7 deadliest mistakes you're making on social media, then you will get more detail about how to leverage other people's networks as well. The fifth deadliest mistake that you're making on social media is that you're not engaging with your audience. And this is, you know, we have this tendency to like not want to spend the time on social media, or we don't understand it, and so how could we ever possibly think about engaging with other people? But look at social media as just a means to have a conversation. It's like you and me getting on the phone having a talk, and we're talking about the weather, and we're talking about your relationship, or we're talking about, you know, your business and how that's going, and the struggles you have and the successes you have and all of the wonderful things, anything that's new in your life. That's how you want to approach social media, because if you approach it like a conversation, that means that we're going to be building more of a relationship together. If we have a relationship, I'm going to engage with you. I'm going to like, comment, and share your posts with my network, and that's what you want. You want your content to be something that's so great and inspiring and that hits me on such a level that I want to share your post with other people on my network, and now you get to leverage my whole network because they're going to look at your post, right? So be thinking of it that way, and just when you sit down to make a post, think to yourself, would I want to share this? Is this something that would excite me? And if the answer is no, chances are your audience won't really care about it either. So I know that this seems like a lot, but truthfully, when you get into the flow of it, right, you start by being aware, then you're paying attention to your posts, you're paying attention to how this isn't just a marketing tool, it's about building relationships that are going to be long-term and serve you and your company and allow for it to grow. When you start looking at it that way, it's going to become 10 times easier. It's just going to be natural for you, just like riding a bike. Once you learn how to do it, you're good to go. Social media is the same way. It's just conversating. It's just getting to know each other. So I think that that mindset's really going to serve you well. The 6th deadliest mistake you're making on social media is that you're not adding a call to action. I can't believe how many times I see somebody sharing their blog post and they say, here's my blog post link, and that's it. Oh, I hate that. It drives me crazy. First of all, you want to engage your audience by asking them a question. Then you want to add value for the post. What's in it for them? What are the benefits that they're going to get out of reading this blog post? Then post the link with a call to action saying, next, I'd like to invite you to read my short little blog post on XYZ topic, and then let me know your honest feedback. And now you've given somebody a call to action of what to do next. So be thinking that, you don't have to do this all the time. So for example, if you're just posting a quote, you don't have to have a call to action, but your call to action could be, true or false, quote. And then what you're doing is you're giving them a call to action to comment below and share their feedback based on that quote. One of the greatest ways to get social media engagement is by asking questions, doing like a true or false, fill in the blank, tell me your feedback, what do you think about whatever. So keep that in mind as well. The last deadliest mistake that you're making on social media is that you're not branding your social networks. Most social networks will have the opportunity for you to add an image on the social network so that you can add your beautiful photo and your tagline and a service list or anything else that you'd like to add. And in the free report, the 7 deadliest mistakes you're making on social media, and also if you go to my web services website at insightfuldevelopment.com, either way, you'll be able to see lots of examples of the 3 ways that you can brand Facebook, how you can brand Twitter and Google Plus and YouTube. Pinterest allows basically a profile image. LinkedIn, not so much, a profile image here again. But you'll see lots of different examples in different industries of the types of content that you could be putting on those branded images to get people back to your network. So those are the 7 deadliest mistakes that you're making on social media. And again, I really encourage you to download this report. And in fact, you just basically leave a comment below, tell me your biggest struggle on social media, and tell me your top takeaway from today's video. I will reply back. I'll help you with your struggle. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to email you that free report, and you can print it out, mark it up. I really encourage you to do that. I go so deep on this ebook. I think it's one of the greatest products I've ever created, truthfully. I just love this report. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. And you'll see how I go even deeper on all of these topics because we only had about a half an hour today, and this ebook is really great. So I hope you got something out of this. I encourage you to improve your mindset about social media. Get in there, get active, build relationships. It's not about the number. It's about sharing your message with the world in the most powerful way through social media and helping others. So I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week on our live video training. Thanks a lot.